Coming up, I'm going to share the 3 things that influential people do. Now they do it habitually, and it's why they're successful. You can do it. And then, is the workday changing forever? We'll break it down. Welcome to the Ken Coleman Show. It's where you come to win at work. And when you're winning at work, 2 awesome things happen. Your life gets better and the paycheck gets bigger. And that's just a simple fact. It's undeniable, and I'm here to help you on that entire professional journey. You are, in fact, a professional. All right, so I want to dive right into this because I have been blessed in my professional life, and it has certainly enhanced my personal life, to be able to sit down and interview some of the best and brightest influencers, leaders, high performers from all walks of life: sports, politics, business, you name it, music, all over the place, actors, directors, the whole 9 yards. And I also am a person who is very intentional to connect with people that are successful. Some of you may be wondering, Ken, are you intentional to connect with people who are not successful? And the answer to that is no. No, I'm just not. Do I serve people that aren't successful? Yes. Difference. So I'm all about serving, giving back. But as far as like connecting, listen, if you want to grow, if you want to win in life, whether it be in parenting, marriage, business, health, exercise, it doesn't matter. You need to hang around people that are winning in those areas. It is the hack. So I want to give you 3 habits. We could call them habits because they've become habits, but they only become habits as a result of intentionality. And these 3 things, whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, because some I could point to people. In fact, I'm thinking of a couple of people right now who I could almost say about these 3 actions, these 3 habits, they are almost subconscious for this person and always have been. And in that case, it's because they've seen these 3 things I'm about to share modeled. They've seen these 3 actions because these are actions. And if they've seen them modeled, then they just picked up the habit from someone else's intentionality and habit. Okay? All right. So there's your setup. What are the 3 actions? Ask, listen, connect. Those are the 3 actions. Highly successful people ask good questions. Highly successful people listen deeply. And highly successful people connect strategically. They ask good questions. They listen deeply. They connect strategically. Now, let me break those down. Asking good questions. There is forethought and instinct. Let me dumb those words down. There is anticipating a moment that you're going to have with somebody that's successful, thinking about it ahead of time, writing down those questions that you want to ask. In other words, answer this. What do I want to know? If you're getting an opportunity to sit with somebody or meet someone, thinking ahead of time, what would I want to know from that person? It's massively important. Now, that's the ahead of time thinking. Then there's the in the moment, instinctively being so present that you ask a good question. Let me give you an example of both of these instances happening in the same room. Okay? Years ago, I had the extreme privilege of being one of the MCs of the Catalyst Conference, which was a large leadership conference. It had 3 conferences throughout the year, and it was for church leaders, but we ended up having a ton of business leaders come to this thing because we had some of the best and brightest speakers in all of leadership, including John Maxwell, who started it. to the Jim Collins of the world, to Alan Mulally, the CEO of Ford Motor Company at the height of his prowess. It just was a who's who. Tony Dungy, Super Bowl winning coach. It was just a who's who of leaders, and I got to interview them on stage and then backstage for the Catalyst podcast. And so I was in the green room with these unbelievable leaders and high performers. So let me give an example of this idea of asking good questions and this idea of, okay, I'm going to think ahead of time, and then I'm also going to be so present in the moment that I'm able to ask a good question. So I'll give you an example. This would happen every year. And I would be in the green room, and there would be these impressive people. And because it was a small amount of people in the room, and I was one of the MCs of the event, and I was probably going to interview these people. In fact, I always interviewed them backstage. I was going to meet them at some point. Now, understand that first initial meeting, you don't have a lot of time with them. And so I remember going, I've got my pre-prepared questions for the podcast, but what's something I want to ask that may break the ice? And I remember the first time meeting Jim Collins. And here I am in this green room, and here's this guy, and I mean, the room was parting for this guy. He's very humble. He's very soft-spoken. And I'm thinking to myself, when I meet Jim the first time, I want to make a good impression on Jim, and I want to do that by asking him something that most people never ask. That's my way of thinking. Because watch this. Here's what happens. Most of the time when you meet somebody successful or very well known, here's what most people do. Okay? And don't worry about this. You may never meet a famous person, but I'm teaching you something. Here's what most people do when they meet a famous person. Hey, I'm a huge fan of you, and I love your work, and it's a compliment, and it's very nice. But can I tell you something? These famous people have heard that 8 billion times. You might as well look at that person and go, hi, you're never going to remember my face or my name or this moment in time. You might as well just say that. I'm telling you the truth, but I'm teaching you something. So stay with me on this. So here's what I learned to do. I never, when I meet a famous person, say, I'm a fan of your work. Because they've heard that, and I might as well be saying this. Wah, 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 wah. They'd have no idea. Here's what I do. I ask a question, and I ask something different. So I'll never forget him with Jim Collins. And here he is, he wrote Good to Great and Built to Last, all this stuff. And the guy's a research guy. And I'm going to be interviewing him maybe later in the day or whatever. And I get this chance and say, hey, Jim, meet Ken. He's one of our MCs. He's the host of the podcast. He's going to be interviewing, blah, blah, blah. And I get this moment. And instead of a fan thing, I looked at Jim and I said to him, what's the most under-asked question about your research? What's the thing that you wish people asked you about your research that nobody does? Now, that's a good question, because now I'm making him think, and the first words out of my mouth are putting him in the game. Now he's forced to actually think. I promise you Jim wasn't going, wah, 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 wah. He wasn't, and let me tell you something. He looked like this to the side, and he started thinking about it, and he gave me an answer. But only after he looked at me and said, that's a really good question. Instant connection. I see him later in the day. We got a connection. Whether I ever saw him again, it doesn't matter. I got something out of that. So successful people, they ask good questions. They are always saying, what do I want to know? By the way, this translates to how they lead people. It translates to their wives, to their kids. Truly successful people are off the charts in their intentionality to ask good questions. Number 2, influential people listen deeply. They listen deeply. They don't just listen to the answer that they're given in the moment. While they're listening to that answer, they're so in the moment, they're going, what's underneath that? Why did Jim answer it that way? When I had the chance to interview Condoleezza Rice, one of the most respected women in the world, on the stage at Entree Leadership 3 years ago, 5,000 leaders out there, and I'm conducting a conversation that is designed to help these leaders. And I'm asking her a question. And I asked her one of the questions I asked her, I said, as Secretary of State or National Security Advisor, you're in this unique position in that you serve the President of the United States, but you also must collaborate with members of Congress, the Senate, foreign leaders, ambassadors. Really unique situation where you kind of have to walk in different rooms and different positions. What did you learn about the power of collaborative communication? That's a good question. Condoleezza Rice has never been asked that. She told me that after. She's never been asked that question. And here's the deal. She answered me, but while she's answering me, I'm listening to her answer so intently that I'm now going, what about her style or experience influenced that answer? And now I'm asking the next question, and it's like I'm literally pulling the onion layer by layer by layer by layer. That's what good, successful people do. They listen deeply. As a result, they learn more. Final thing, they connect strategically. Oh, by the way, that second question is what's underneath the answer? So if we look at asking good questions, what do I want to know? It's intentionality. And I'm learning as a result. The second thing is listen deeply. So you're asking, what's underneath that answer? What's deeper? What's 3 layers deeper in that answer they just gave me? Oh, the gold of life is there. And then third, they connect strategically. This question is, who do I need to know? Successful people think about that. Who do I need to know? And as a result, they find a way to know them. And the rest of people are walking around, my life sucks. It's average. Yeah, because you don't ask good questions. You don't get underneath the answer. And you do not connect strategically. You want to know how to be successful? Just do that right there. Those 3 things. And no one will ever, ever, ever be able to hold you back. I just broke down success into the 3 actions that you can do right now where you are. Do it. Hey folks, I want to tell you about one of our viewers, Nick. He was a high school chemistry teacher, not making enough for his wife to stay home with their kids like they wanted, and he needed a change. A friend told him about a tech job, and a few days later, Nick also heard about Bethel Tech and their full stack development program on this show. So he enrolled. He got in, he crushed it, he got hired before he even finished, and now, ready for this, makes $20,000 more with opportunities to make up to $150,000. So, what does your life look like a year from now if you were to move into tech? Will you bet on yourself like Nick did? For as little as $5,000 in just 15 weeks of your time, you can learn a skill that will land you a great job in tech. And remember, Ken Coleman viewers get a 10% discount. To find out more, go to betheltech.net/Ken Coleman. All right, folks, May the 7th is an exciting date for me. I'm a 2-time best-selling author, and it's really cool, but it didn't make me a different person. And so at this point in my life, I'll be very candid with you. When I put out something new, I'm never measuring status anymore. I'm measuring the effectiveness of the tool that I'm putting out. And this book right here, we've been telling you about it on the show. May the 7th, it actually hits stores everywhere. You've been able to pre-order it. You can still pre-order it now. It's called Find the Work You're Wired to Do. Now, this is not just a book. In fact, it's a small book, smallest book I've ever written. And this is really not a traditional book. This has the Get Clear career assessment in it, which answers the question, who am I? What's my unique design? And it gives you a detailed report. This is what it looks like. You can actually thumb through it, and it gives you a report on what you do best, your top 3 talents, what you love to do most, your top 3 passions, and what motivates me. What are the results that if I'm producing these results, I'm getting out of bed with a little skip in my step. That's called mission. When I use what I do best to do what I love, to produce results that matter to me, I am on purpose. I am doing what I was wired to do. Those are the 3 wires: talent, what you do best; passion, what you love to do most; and mission, what results matter to you. So that assessment, it's called the Get Clear assessment, has been wildly successful. Well, here's what feedback I've gotten on the show. Many of you can take the assessment and you go, bing, I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I know where I can do it. And I got a good idea how to get there. Okay. Some of you go, man, I know who I am. I'm not sure about the what I want to do and where I can do it, how to get it. And I get it. So I wrote this. And so this picks you up, and it's literally mirrored from how I've coached thousands of people on, Ken, I know who I am, but I'm having a hard time picking this path. And so this is a wonderful gift. Comes out May the 7th for your graduate, high school or college, for that friend who's stuck, the family member who's just frustrated. You get the book plus an assessment code, plus the ebook and an assessment code, and the audiobook and an assessment code. So essentially, one price, you get 3 formats of the book and 3 codes. Fabulous deal. I looked at Dave in a meeting. I said, Dave, it's too good. It's too good of a deal. My kids need shoes. But that's what we're doing. It's a great deal. It comes out May the 7th. All right. I want to cover an article here about how we're working today. And I'm going to share the reality with you so that you go, Ken's just shared with me the reality in the workplace. And in doing so, he showed me where I can get the edge and win. You want to know how to outpace your competition in the office and outside? For those of you that want to climb the ladder, because this show is not for people who want average. I got news for you. If you want an average life and an average job, this show, it's not for you. My stuff isn't for you. But now if you want to win and have the life you desire and get to the end of your journey and look back and say, I'm reminiscing on all the fun things I did or the challenges that I met, the chances that I took, I don't want to regret what I didn't do. I want to remember what I did do. This show's for you. So I'm sharing this with you to give you a competitive edge. Here we go. This is fascinating. Employees are working an hour less a day since 2021. And again, this is all pandemic stuff. The world of work changed forever. Some good, some bad. But here's where we stand. Workers are now putting in about 4 hours less a week because of the 1 hour less a day. This is a new report by ActiveTrack. They're a workforce analytics company. And they found that between the first quarter of 2021. So again, we're very much in the pandemic. I don't care if you're on a left state or a right state, on what you think about masks. Even at this point, first quarter of 2021, we're very much still in what we would call that pandemic era of work. So they found that between the first quarter of 2021 and the third quarter of 2023, that's just last year, the average length of the workday fell by 47 minutes. The analysis found that the typical workday spanned 9 hours and 5 minutes at the end of 2023 compared to 9 hours and 52 minutes at the beginning of 2021. Now, this is a survey because this is so legitimate, folks. For those of you who don't really care about data as much as I do, you just want the facts, understand that the larger the sample size, the more accurate the data is, in my opinion. Some statistic people will fight me on that. I like large samples. 135,000 workers across 958 companies looking into 97 million hours of data. I go, oh, that's good. It's kind of like that scene in Lion King where the hyenas are hanging out and one of them says Mufasa's name. You remember that scene? And one of the hyenas goes, ooh, say it again. And the hyena goes, Mufasa. It's kind of one of those, whoa, pay attention to this, right? This is powerful. Here's what they found. Employees are finishing their task in less time. That's good. Efficiency's up. But there are slight declines in focus time and productive time. That's bad. So what we've got is hacks, tools, software, systems are getting better all the time. So people are getting their work done more efficiently, but focus time and productive time is down. Hello, social media. I just listened to a podcast where a guy named Cal Newport, who's written a wildly popular bestseller called Deep Work. I've interviewed Cal before. And he shared something that I had not heard previously or I'd forgotten. This is going to freak you all out. You ready? Let's say you're working. There's a lady right out here in the lobby, and I presume she's working. And she's on her laptop, and she's kind of listening to me. I'm very grateful she's there. But she's working right now. Ma'am, let's say you're writing an email and you're totally focused. And then the guy in the studio interrupts you, like I just did. you have just been interrupted. It will now take your brain 23 minutes to be able to refocus. Yeah. So you're trying to do deep work. You can go back to your work, ma'am. Thank you for being my muse. You could be doing work and you get an email ding or a social media notification or a text from your kid or your spouse or whatever. And I get it. It's life. I'm driving home the point here that we've never been more distracted in our work life, and it is absolutely affecting our ability. The deeper the work, the better the work. The better the work, the greater the result. The greater the result, the better my paycheck gets. The better my paycheck gets, the better my life gets. Am I getting through to you now? You want to know your competitive advantage? I'm telling you. I'm giving you the data. If you want to be a statistic, good on you. Stop listening to my show. If you want to be above the data, keep listening. Keep watching. One last, a couple more pieces really quick. Active Track showed that the average worker logs off at about 5 p.m. on Monday through Thursday. On Friday, workers sign off at 4:03 p.m. A quick little piece on that. I'm going to keep moving. I'm telling you, folks, I said it before. I'm more convinced than ever that I'm right. The 4-day work week is coming, and it may sneak up on some of you, and it's going to really piss off Dave Ramsey. I don't want to be around him when that happens across the country because he ain't going to like it. And I get it. I'm just having some fun with this, but I'm telling you, the 4-day work week is coming. It ain't coming to Ramsey Solutions, but it's coming to other places. And we're already beginning to see this when you see data like this where people are basically going, hey, on Friday, I'm out an hour earlier. Deuces, I got a pitcher of margaritas with my name on it, or whatever the deal is, right? It's just the reality. Now, on top of all of the fewer hours and productivity dropping, we're also seeing the disengagement is jumping up. Employees were disengaged, which means they're spending more than 75% of their time in a state of underutilization. Good Lord. Are you kidding me? This is a massive leadership problem and a massive leadership opportunity and also a massive career opportunity for you. Folks, if you just listen to only one thing I just shared in this segment, listen to this. 20% of employees are disengaged. They're literally checked out. That's a huge advantage. All you got to do is show up and be engaged, and you are going to rise up the ladder organically. Be engaged. Find a place where you can be engaged and watch your paycheck grow and your life improve. That's it. That's all I even need to say. If you get nothing else, that's it. And we think success is so difficult. We think outpacing the competition is so difficult. It's not. Be engaged. So there you go. I'm going to leave it at that. You know, sometimes there's just the moment when you need to stop. And for this segment, that's all you need to know. Your competitive advantage is based solely on your ability to get engaged. All right, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. We got a coaching session here. If you ever want to get coached up for free on the show, boy, what a deal this is. Just email ask@kencoleman.com. All right, let's go to Des Moines, Iowa. Karen is joining us. Karen, how can I help today?
Thank you, sir. I am a coach. I love coaching. It's what I've always wanted to do. I've coached high school for 30 plus years, and
nice.
I'm coaching college.
What? Yes. Oh, tell me about the 30 years in high school. What'd you coach?
Softball, basketball, all kinds of stuff. And now I'm coaching softball in college.
Nice. Are you able to tell me where you are? Probably not.
Nope.
I get it. I'm such a sports fan.
I'm so sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
Don't be.
So I love coaching. I love taking these teenagers and helping them understand their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Helping them understand how it intertwines with other strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
And how that is just a beautiful thing that morphs into a team. Then when you're in competition, how it just puts chaos into all of that and how they react.
Oh,
okay. I love that.
I got goosebumps, right? Coach. I already got goosebumps. I need a whistle.
I'm not trying to be cocky, but I've been told very many times I'm really good at it. Okay. So
I love that.
How do you take a job that you love, but is not financially supportive? What do you do? Because I have all kinds of part-time jobs, and honestly, I'm getting a little tired of it.
Yeah.
And I think
what do you make?
Straw that broke, I make $7,000 a year.
How much?
Coaching. $7,000 a year coaching.
Oh, good Lord. And
I know.
And are you essentially putting in 40 hours a week at a collegiate level?
Easy. Oh, easy.
Are you double income or are you the only income?
No, my husband also works, and praise him, but we bring home about $70,000 together.
Okay.
And the straw that broke the camel's back, and not the camel with a K, the camel with a C. What broke the camel's back is I'm 52, he's 55, and we're starting to get a few more doctor bills. You know, we've been hard on our bodies, and so we're having some surgeries.
Yeah.
And financially, we're in good shape, except now all these extra things are coming up, which does happen to be a financial burden.
Yeah.
He loves his job. He loves his job. I will not be able to move him with a crowbar.
Okay.
So he loves what he does. He loves the place. He loves everything. So I am trying to figure out, when do I leave coaching and just go get a full-time job to help us get through these last multiple years?
I think as soon as we find something that allows you to be a coach in a corporate environment.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as we find
that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. So what have you been trying? Go ahead.
So I took your assessment. That's the first part I did.
Okay, good.
And let me tell you what they are.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get it to where I can write it down because Alex, again, this is where I want to get that iPad. I wish I had a whiteboard. No, it's just great, Coach. I just need you to give me the top 3 in each category of talent and passion. And then what I do is I write it down so I can see it and I begin to see patterns. So give me your top 3 talents.
Let me know.
Go.
You let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Justice.
All right, slow down. There we go. Justice. All right, next.
Inspection and instruction.
What was it?
Inspection and instruction.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Hold on, let me get this down. This is so fun. All right, top 3 passions. This is work she loves, folks. Okay, go ahead.
Planning, solving, and teaching.
Oh my gosh, does it sound like a coach to anybody out there? Yeah. Good heavens.
Guess what the last one is?
I'm gonna say, this is very personal. It's either her motivational drive, it's either influence or achievement. But because you're a coach, I'm going to say achievement because you like the scoreboard.
Creation.
Wow. See, I told you it was very personal.
It's creation. And I agree with that because when I coach, I love making new drills. I love making it into a game. I love that. I just love it.
Love that. Now, let me tell you why that's really cool and why it's really personal. So the audience is following along going, well, Ken chose influence and achievement. But by the way, I'll bet you both of those were above average for you, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
Super high.
Yeah.
Super high.
But what's so personal about this Get Clear assessment is Karen, she loves coming up with a new drill, a new practice schedule, something new that breaks through to these kids. And watch this. She loves planning. Well, guess what? When she comes up with the idea for the new drill, she has to plan how it gets executed. Yes, Karen?
Yeah, but I fly by the seat of my pants a lot. I don't do a whole lot of pen and paper. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're planning it in your head.
Yeah, for sure.
So remember, we can't take these things so technically. We got to take these things personally. We lay the word planning over you. We lay the word solving over you. We lay the word teaching over you, and that's what you love doing. The very essence of coaching is teaching, and you're most talented at instruction and inspection and justice, which means justice just means someone has a high high ability to know what is right and what is wrong. And that's you.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
I coach fairly. I do. I really do. They got to work for it.
I love that. All right. So what have you been trying for? When you say I've been trying to land something, what have you been trying for?
So the last 30 years, let me just give you a 20-second here. I have taught high school math. I have gone into the factory. I've worked continuous improvement, purchasing. About every 6 years, I move to something different because I don't like what I have. Then I've got my own personal job or my own personal businesses. I did a sign shop. I have a math degree, emphasis teaching. And then I've had some online stuff. I loved the sign shop, but I got cancer. And so somebody asked me if they wanted to sell it, and it was the right time to sell. And then I've been working part-time. I've been doing catering. I've been doing, I was assistant for medical. I mean, I've been trying every field.
No, stop. Okay, now I understand what you mean by trying. No, don't be sorry. I'm so on your team. I'm Team Karen. If I had a T-shirt right now, it would say Team Coach Karen.
Great.
Here's the deal. Your purpose statement, Karen, is your job description. And of all those things you shared with me, I don't think many of those actually would have held up to the funnel or to the filter of your purpose statement. You need to be spending 75% of your day using the talent of justice, inspection, and instruction. That means you're looking at what needs to be taught or what needs to be better, and then you are actually instructing. That's going to allow you to, by the seat of your pants, come up with a plan to solve the problem, and you're going to teach people how to do the thing you're telling them to do. That's the drill, Karen. And you're going to be in a situation where you got to constantly pivot and lead. I'm telling you where I'm thinking. I see you in a leadership role. You can call it management if that feels better to you. I see you in a management role in a manufacturing or in a some type of a factory, some type of a situation where you got a team of people and problems arise sometimes with the way that we're processing something, the way we're doing something, and you're listening to the team. And I just see you in a leadership role. I see you in an office manager role. I think you got to be the coach in the corporate environment. And I'd be looking for a job that will allow me to be a coach in the corporate environment. And I think that would set your soul free. That's what I think. You got to be leading. This is a leadership role. Again, you can call it management, but if you're managing a team of people and you come at it with the way you have coached softball and basketball for 30 years, you're going to crush it. And you should be making $60,000 to $75,000 a year.
Okay. I
would be looking in Des Moines, Iowa for people who need a manager. And you walk in and they go, what did God just drop in my lap? And you say, well, I'll tell you what, an experienced coach who's learned how to win by getting a team together on the same page, putting the right people in the right position to come together and win championships. Karen, that's a heck of a bio.
Thank you.
Am I right? Did I fabricate any of it?
No, I think that's right on.
So you go apply for every freaking management position in Des Moines, Iowa, and walk in there. And by the way, stop applying. Get people that you know in the community to go, hey, I know about a company that's looking for a manager or leader. I'll recommend you. You walk in there and go, this is who I am. This is what I do best. I got a high level of right and wrong. I'm really good at looking at a situation and going, this softball team is not winning because our middle part of the lineup can't produce runs. That's inspection. Right. I'm really good at teaching some girl how to freaking hit a softball to right field.
I am.
I know. And I love coming up with a strategy. That's planning. Yep. I love solving problems on a team. I love teaching people how to be their best.
Yep.
It's quite a narrative in an interview, I think. And you should be at that level with your experience. By the way, don't tell them you only make $7,000 a year. I'm serious.
I agree.
and you should be doubling your income.
Okay.
You got it?
Thank you very much.
Come on, coach. Don't make me do my own locker room speech here. You got to believe.
No, I'm good.
No.
I believe. I do.
Well, but you got to believe a little bit more aggressively and get out there and put yourself out there and go, I want this position. I'm taking it. And you're a flipping idiot if you don't give me the position. Don't say that, but you want to act that way. All right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, Coach. Thanks for honoring me by calling me and let me coach a coach. Made my day. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.